Hi guys, it's Tamara coming back at you with another video. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to finish our video on the Dunning-Kruger Effect. So we talked a little bit about the Dunning-Kruger Effect last week and I introduced the whole idea to you. But in this video, we're going to focus just a little bit more narrowly on some of the areas of life that are negatively impacted by the Dunning-Kruger effect. So the benefits for you today in this video is that we're going to focus on three main areas that the Dunning-Kruger effect negatively impacts. And we're going to pick and pull apart the cultural implications of this particular mindset. I should call it a delusional mindset because that's basically what it is. So I have my notes here as always. So you're going to see me going back and forth, just to kind of stay on track a little bit. But let's just go ahead and jump in. So in the previous video, which I'm going to put up here for you, I introduced the whole idea of the Dunning-Kruger effect. The whole idea is that an individual has some kind of overconfidence or overestimation of their ability. It's an illusory superiority. That's the best way that I can put that. It's a delusional mindset that an individual has regarding their ability. Their abilities may be overestimated or more judged to be better than others, when the reality is that it isn't, right? That person has an average ability, or they have an ability that everybody else has, but they tend to rate it a lot higher. Okay, that's the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's not an arrogant mindset. It's not a it's not an arrogant mindset. It's not something that, you know, somebody can turn off and on. It really is a delusional, narcissistic way of viewing oneself. And it's not easily disrupted, right? That mindset is not easily disrupted by proof of the contrary or proof to the contrary, right? You could show somebody that they are completely not as great as they think they are, and unfortunately they continue to believe it. So that's the Dunning-Kruger effect. I am kind of meshing this effect with psychosis because it really is a deep-seated self-perception that is false. So I want to start with culture, and I know a lot of you probably will be able to relate to this, and I think that this might hopefully stimulate some kind of exploration of self in terms of culture. So let's talk a little bit about culture. So in terms of evaluating the Dunning-Kruger effect with culture, here's what happens. So we have the African American, the Native American, the Asian American, and the Hispanic, Latino American population. Those four cultures are constantly negatively affected by the Dunning-Kruger effect. What happens is the dominant race, which would be the Caucasian race, because of privilege and because of the way that our system has been pre-designed and politically designed, culturally designed, the dominant race, the Caucasian race, tends to struggle a lot with the Dunning-Kruger effect. And this is not everybody. This is a certain sector of people who are one-sided, polarized in their views of humanity. Okay, so I'm not talking about everybody, but just a small sector of people who believe themselves to be better than other groups of people. And so the dominant culture, the Caucasian race, has a history of kind of struggling with the Dunning-Kruger effect, meaning that they believe that they are more superior and talented and more educated than another race or group of people. Inherently better is the mentality of this particular segment of people, right? Not all, but a small segment of people who believe that way. The whole idea is this, that we were born better, we think better, we do better, we work better, we act better, all of those things. And it's an illusory, deceptional, or deceptive, I should say, frame of reference or mindset. It is not based on truth, because Hispanics, Latino, Asian Americans, African Americans, Native Americans, and other groups of ethnic minorities are not inherently or innately inadequate, right? They have been held back. They have been disenfranchised, discriminated against. They have experienced prejudice and inequality, marginalization. So when you look at all of those things, it becomes very clear that a minority group of people are not inherently inferior. The Dunning-Kruger effect makes a group of people believe that they are more superior than another group of people. It's a very delusional mindset of we're inherently better. And the reality is that no, you're not inherently better. None of us are inherently better than the other, right? Environment, genes, socialization, economics, politics, all of those things create in us humans different levels of know-how and knowledge and exposure. But that doesn't mean that one group is inherently better than the other. Unfortunately, the Dunning-Kruger effect kind of sets that in motion, that whole idea that we're inherently better than the other. And it's a very delusional mindset. And it's very limiting to not only the minority groups, but also the dominant group as well. Okay, that was difficult. So tell me what you think of that theory. There's a lot of research that supports that theory, that the Dunning-Kruger effect is in fact one of the foundational challenges to equality for race and culture. So tell me what you think of that in the comment section below. Let's move on to the next one. So work and life. Okay, so the Dunning-Kruger effect can play itself out like this. So let's say you have an individual in a work environment. So let's say you work at Target, okay? Your colleagues at Target and you have all been trained the same way. You have the same level of experience, same level of exposure. You get along outside of work. Target kind of fosters this teamwork kind of an atmosphere. Everything seems to be going okay. You notice, however, that one of your colleagues tends to act like your boss. And even though you guys are equal in every way possible, this person still acts like your boss, and you can't figure out why. You have no idea why. You can't wrap your mind around how they think that they are better than you, and you guys are on the same level at work. Okay? The Dunning-Kruger effect. And I'm sure a lot of people feel like, what is it? This person is narcissistic and just completely out of their head. Well, it's the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? It's that delusional overestimation of one's ability, right? They're narcissistic. They feel that they are better, even though they're on the same level. They overestimate their ability in such a way that they begin to act like they're your manager. And in fact, they're not. Your manager can't even step up to the plate because your coworker's acting like the boss, right? In some situations, the Dunning-Kruger effect really can influence other people because you might find the manager kind of becoming this person's slave, for lack of a better word, or kind of becoming this person's, pet, right? But that's only because they have this delusional frame of mind and frame of reference that says, I'm better. Even though the reality is that, no, you're not. We're on the same level here. We're all employees. But the Dunning-Kruger effect can cause your coworker to think that they are in fact better than you. And in some situations, it might actually work. It might actually pull on the actual manager to believe that that person is superior. So, I mean, it can get really, really tricky. And as a matter of fact, we're going to go into our discussion of psychosis and psychotic disorders coming up. And so that's why we're finishing out the Dunning-Kruger effect, because really it is just another symptom of psychosis, to be very honest. It's highly delusional, and it's based on an illusory superiority. That's the best way to look at that. All right, so let's move to relationships. How does the Dunning-Kruger effect affect you and your relationships? Well, oh yikes. So let me give you an example story on what I dealt with maybe 5 years ago when I first started in private practice. So I had a client who was married, and she was married to her husband for maybe 15 years. They decided to have a kid. They had a 5-year-old, and she felt that throughout her life experiences, she was surpassing her husband in all of, you know, in all areas of their marriage. She felt that she was a better parent, felt that she was a better thinker, felt that she was better emotionally, felt that she was better psychologically, intellectually. Like, she really had these firm, concrete, superior beliefs when it came to her husband. It got so bad, her delusional mindset of superiority got so bad that she began to disrupt her marriage, because she began to talk down to and highly manipulate her husband. It got to a place where she had to pursue therapy because their marriage was so, like, they were clashing all the time. Unfortunately, being in therapy for her was an opportunity to strengthen the Dunning-Kruger effect, to strengthen her illusory superiority, because she got a chance to kind of hear herself talk, which reinforced her own ideas of superiority. So she was clearly narcissistic. So in this particular relationship, she felt that she was better in terms of parenting, and she would always go to her husband and, you know, teach him parenting tools, and she would like bring him books and articles and like really try to educate him. Okay, educate him, that's the key word, because she felt that she was a lot better than him in a lot of ways, and she was more of his teacher, she was more of his parent than his wife. And unfortunately, that marriage ended in divorce. Now, for the privacy of this particular client, I have changed around some details as far as gender and so forth. So but the gist of the story is this, that she felt she was so superior that she destroyed her relationship, because she had to teach him, she had to fix him, she had to renew him, right? She had to rebirth him. He had to be better, he had to get better, right? And so there was no equality in that relationship. There was no give and take. It was the Dunning-Kruger effect, the illusory superiority at its best. Oh, it's so disruptive in culture, in work, in relationships. All right, guys, thanks so much for being with me today in this video. I encourage you to give it a thumbs up if it was helpful to you. Sorry it went to 12 minutes, but I did want to make sure that I gave you guys some concrete information on what this is. If you have questions or concerns about this, I encourage you to post it in the comments section below. What has been your experience with the Dunning-Kruger effect? Have you had a situation like this? And if so, what do you think about it? So I encourage you to share that. Stay tuned, guys, because we're going to be talking about psychosis and other delusional disorders and mindsets coming up here in another week. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.